Filling up ahead of the Golden Boy Luke Campbell's third pro fight. Now for one of the city's former football stars, Curtis Woodhouse, now punching for pay. His title dreams not deterred despite losing in 4 rounds to Derry Matthews just 6 weeks ago. How does his comeback go? Here's John McDonald.
We continue the action with 6 rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing to you firstly, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the green trunks trimmed with red and black and weighing in at 10 stone 5 pounds 8 ounces, taking part in his 8th professional contest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Lydney, Lewis Van Poestch. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks trimmed with silver, weighing in at 10 stone 5 pounds 10 ounces, a 25 fight record, 19 wins, 13 inside the scheduled distance, and just 6 defeats. Former Commonwealth title challenger and the former English champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Troll Hunter from Driffield, Curtis Woodhouse. Taking the bell is Barry Pinder, and our referee in charge of the action is Mr. Michael Alexander, and this is 6 3-minute rounds.
Well, lads, you both know the rules, so let's just have a good, clean fight, okay? Most of all, remember to defend yourselves at all times. Touch gloves. Keep it clean.
Yeah, 6 threes and Curtis Woodhouse on the comeback trail. We saw him 6 weeks ago getting heavily knocked out down at lightweight by Derry Matthews, and that was the end of that experiment. He's now back up at welterweight, and he needs to have a bit of weight behind him because he's going in against a naturally bigger fella in the inexperienced Lewis Van Poestch, who's campaigned a lot at light middle and is coming down for this one. But Curtis was saying after that knockout, there were a couple of weeks there that he really pondered his future and wondered what to do and how to go about it, and then he just got his head clear and decided, yeah, I want to carry on. And whilst he's 33, Jim, because of his football background, which is well documented, he's a young 33 in boxing terms and still has plenty left in the tank.
Yeah, what I like about him, I mean, the progress he's made in such a short time is impressive, but I like the fact that he really seems to love the game. He really likes to be a boxer. So it's good to see him back again, and it's good to see him back again so quickly. You don't want to mope too long. I mean, it was a heavy defeat. He'd moved up a level. You know, he wasn't a favourite to win the fight against Matthews, but it was a pretty heavy defeat. So it's good to see he still has his enthusiasm, and he's back again, and maybe a bit closer to his own natural weight division.
And he's promised to modify his style as well. He says going for the big knockouts and the gung-ho stuff. He says he's got to concentrate on his defensive work. He's doing a lot of work with Ryan Rhodes now, by the way. You'll still see John Pegg in his corner, but for geography reasons more than anything else. There's no falling out with John Pegg, but he's teamed up with Ryan Rhodes. They train at the Coldwell Gym in Rotherham. And Ryan's main thing is to say, you've got to just work on the defensive side of your game and get back to basics a little bit. And Curtis was saying, I don't think I've thrown a double jab in my life. So he really is sort of taking a bit of a step back in a sense, you know, forgetting the crowd pleasing, and that can be a good thing, and it can certainly prolong your career.
Yeah, well, he started well here defensively, you know, some nice head movement, getting the hands up nice and quickly, getting the jabs off. But he'll find this a heavy weather. Van Poestch looks big, doesn't he? I mean, he looks big at the weight and looks strong as well.
Very strong.
I think the longer this goes, maybe that's one of these fights, the tougher it's going to get. These are meaty shots, and Poestch is throwing as well.
Yeah, really dug those into the body there, Van Poestch, who's a serving soldier in the Rifles Battalion. He's done a tour of active duty in Afghanistan. And when Curtis Woodhouse heard that, he said, well, I'm not going to frighten him, am I? Puts it into some kind of context. But he says the army's very good. They let him go and train in Newport with Tony Borg, who's here working his corner. He loves boxing. He said he was 14 years old. He used to watch the old Friday night fights on Sky Sports, and said one day he dreamt that he'd be on a TV, on a televised show, that he would be boxing on television, and that dream for him has come true tonight. And he'll want to put on a show, and he's not being totally outgunned or outclassed here. Not a bad opening session from the inexperienced Van Poestch.
Yeah, I think Woodhouse is winning the round. He's doing a lot of good work, but you know, he's using up some steam in the process. So I wonder, maybe as this one goes along, a bit more movement from Woodhouse would be good advice. I mean, this fella, as we're saying, he's big, he's strong, he'll be in terrific shape. So good opening round.
I want. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right round. But look, I want double jabs.
No, that was a good opening round. I found that really entertaining. Woodhouse really got off to a flyer the first minute and a half or so. And Van Poestch come back into things with some meaty looking punches. So I think this one's going to be worth watching.
Round 2.
Round 2 of this 6-rounder made at welterweight. Curtis Woodhouse, the former Sheffield United, England under-21 football, up against, from the Rifles, Lewis Van Poestch. Woodhouse with all that experience, Van Poestch with youthful hunger. This is a guy, Van Poestch, who took himself on holiday, went to Vegas and just took himself off to the Mayweather gym. The great man wasn't there, but he did a bit of work. Just wanted to be around a big-time Vegas boxing gym and enjoyed the experience. Woodhouse starting this second round busy, a low one coming in there. Accidental from Van Poestch, picked up immediately by Michael Alexander. Totally accidental. Body shot there from Van Poestch. Van Poestch trained by Tony Borg, whose client list includes Lee Selby. Always been impressed with the game plans that Borg brings. And the game plan here looks pretty simple. Just work that body a bit. See what Woodhouse is like downstairs.
I'm just wondering if Woodhouse's jab is strong enough to keep Van Poestch on the end of it. You know, he's strong, he's sturdy. So if you're not hitting hard enough to keep the other fellow at bay, then you've got to do it with get the punches off and then get out of there. But he's standing his ground, Woodhouse, making for better entertainment.
Ooh, with the right hand, that was nice. And then a body shot straight away afterwards. Now Woodhouse took that well and came back with something, but there's a warning sign for Curtis Woodhouse. That was really well executed there.
It's damaged the eye as well. It's a big right hand, so we can see some blood on the left eyebrow of Woodhouse. And I just think he's boxing the wrong fight. He's making this tougher than it has to be. I think, as I was saying earlier, it looks like a fight that could get tougher the longer it goes. Putting out a lot of good work, Woodhouse, but this is heavy work for him.
Well, Woodhouse is making the transition. As I said, he's still got John Pegg working the corner tonight, but Ryan Rhodes is doing all the work for him. They've had a 5-week camp together, and Rhodes is making adjustments as Woodhouse works the eye. So he's in transition here, Woodhouse.
Well, he's probably done just a little bit more work. I mean, okay, the punches that you remember, one punch in particular, has come from Van Poestch. But he's been nice and busy at Woodhouse. But, yeah, I felt this could turn out heavy weather for him. And it's shaping up that way. Not going to be an easy night. But putting out a lot of work.
Yeah, really digging in the body shots himself here, Woodhouse, but Van Poestch doing a tidy job of covering up. And again, there's the switch downstairs. And that big right hand that he landed, he followed it up with a left hook to the body. So Woodhouse busier, but as you say, Jim, Van Poestch is catching the eye here.
Look at me. Arms down. Oh, it's not bad, it's not bad. Legs out. Oh, stay there. Hey? Yeah. Distance and pistol. No problems. Distance. 5 points.
Yeah, that was a terrific right hand from Van Poestch that caused the eye injury. I don't think there's any question. That's what caused the injury. We saw the blood appearing just shortly after that. Yep, that's a lovely shot. Woodhouse took it well and produced a lot of good work himself from that point. But this is going to be a struggle for him. This is a hard night's work ahead, I believe. Van Poestch, a good opponent.
Round 3 of this 6-rounder. Curtis Woodhouse, very popular in this part of the world, well respected in the fight game. That old moniker he had of footballer trying to make in the game, that's long gone. I remember Frankie Gavin boxing him quite a while ago, a couple of years ago now, and Frankie admitted that he'd just taken him lightly, so would never do that again. He'd got his respect. He's got everybody's respect. And again, Van Poestch landing a solid shot there, but good response there from Woodhouse.
See, I think Woodhouse should be thinking about making Van Poestch miss and punish him for mistakes. You know, he hasn't shown the power to trouble Van Poestch. So just think skills, think making him miss, and then punish him with the counters. Although this is good, which is the exact opposite, leading off well.
Nice counter to the body.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking about. You know, watch the punches come and slip, then get the counters off. Don't linger on the ropes.
And again, a nice counter as well. Van Poestch needs to find another gear at the moment. This is second best in there at the moment.
Yeah, just been a little bit predictable, Van Poestch. He's a little bit crude.
Woodhouse getting that jab going. That'll please Ryan Rhodes. Be good to see Ryan joining the ranks of the training profession.
Yeah, he's picked up some tremendous experience, Ryan, in a long career. And I think he knows how to get through to fighters. He's got, you know, anybody he works with, he's going to have the respect straight away.
Yeah, this a week, of course, when Jamie Moore, who we'll see training later on, training Tommy Coyle, has been named as Matthew Macklin's new trainer, which was a move that surprised a lot of people. And then you looked at it and thought about it, and you thought, well, that makes a lot of sense. So some good old pros like Jamie Moore and now Ryan Rhodes, they're going to be working the corners a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how their careers progress. And certainly here, this jab is working a bit better for Woodhouse, and it's been a much more comfortable round for him.
He's not having to work quite so hard now at Woodhouse, which is good news. He's not been pressurised the way he was earlier. So he's been given a little bit of time to get the jabs off, get his movement going. So from Van Poestch's point of view, he really should be raising the tempo, trying to take this by the scruff of the neck.
In his face the whole time now. Win the round with the jab, stay out of trouble. When he tries to lunge, punish him with the backhand, okay? Feel good? Spit? Yeah.
Stop wiping and because he's beginning.
Yeah, I think Woodhouse's experience is beginning to show itself now. Finding a little bit more room, not under the same pressure. His jab, his long-range boxing is keeping him in front. So,
Round 4.
things going well for him.
A bit of Vaseline around the jawline there of Van Poestch. I wonder if that's what Mike Alexander's complaining about. The whole of that left side. But anyway, that's been cleaned up. Now we're ready. Round 4. And Woodhouse needed a good, solid last round just to put Van Poestch back in his place. He got it. And now Van Poestch needs to see if he can ask some questions of Woodhouse.
Yeah, I think Van Poestch will have been sent out to raise the tempo. He was boxing at the wrong pace in the third round. So you can see already doing a lot more work.
Just getting picked off a bit here, and Woodhouse is just starting to look comfortable again. That was better from him as well. This is good stuff from Woodhouse. Van Poestch forced onto the defensive, and he's got the naturally bigger man backing up here.
Yeah, this is good stuff from Woodhouse. I thought but now it would be getting tougher for him, but not. He's using his experience, using his skills a bit more, not standing his ground too long. And just a little dip in the pace from Van Poestch. A good job.
Good work again from Woodhouse. Van Poestch trying to cover up and block some of these shots, but he's not blocking them all. And again, he's forced Van Poestch to miss. How many times has Van Poestch in this last round, in this fourth round, excuse me, been missing with his lead as Woodhouse just slips inside and whacks him with a counter?
Yeah, and he's not really pressurising. He's on the back foot, quite the opposite. You know, Woodhouse really looking good now.
And he caught him then with a wide left hook. But then Van Poestch came straight back at him. Be interesting to see how Curtis evaluates his own performance after this, assuming it carries on like this. Because, as I say, he talked about, enough with the crowd pleasing, gung-ho, let's go out on our shield type stuff. And he wants to concentrate more on boxing, more on just grinding away, and he's certainly opened up some damage. I think it's the nose has gone of Van Poestch.
I think this is a good performance from Woodhouse. He's used his skills now. Good, sensible boxing, good pace. Doing everything just at the right time, towards the end of the round, putting the pedal down. So there's some facial damage there from Van Poestch, the nose bleeding. Oh, these are good body shots. Not Woodhouse has got better as this one's went along.
And he looked a bit weary at the end of that round, Van Poestch. There wasn't much snap in his work at all. Tony Borgs needs a miracle here.
Yeah, no, just fucking. Right, just a bit of blood, brief. Right, a bit of blood. Listen to me. You've got to take it to him. You've got to put him on the back foot. He's coming forward. That's what he does. He's there. Put him on the back foot. Right? Put him on the back foot. You can't and move to your right. You can't see out the right. Yeah. Listen to me. Put him on. No, it's like a race. Go away there. Listen. Split out. Split out. It's all right, mate. And next one.
No, I'm impressed by Woodhouse. The way he's imposed himself on this. When this kicked off tonight, I thought this could really be a tough night for him. But he's more skillful than Van Poestch. And he's using that skill now, just doing the things at the right time, picking a good spot just to step in with the punches, some of the body shots. And look at the facial damage there. That's a bad nosebleed. Must be interfering with his breathing.
Woodhouse hasn't got out of this one unscathed either. One round after this, they continue to go to work on that left eye, and not for the first time. Michael Alexander just stuck his head in that corner and just had a look at it. There was a little exchange of words at which Woodhouse smiled, so I don't think they're too concerned, and Michael Alexander doesn't seem to be too concerned. But if Van Poestch can worsen it and damage it more, and remember it was caused with a punch, well, again, straight away, as much as they've tried to stem that nose, it looks a hopeless cause. And an awful lot of blood around the face now of Lewis Van Poestch.
See, Woodhouse has stopped the march forward that we're seeing in the first couple of rounds from Van Poestch. And that's taken a lot of the steam and the momentum out of his work. Good work again from Woodhouse. That really is impressive.
Yeah, he's getting well on top here. And he's starting to hurt Van Poestch. There's a right hand that got through earlier. That jab starting to look really sharp now. And Van Poestch very much in defensive mode. He tries to come out of his shell, but a lot of that snap that was in those punches in the earlier rounds, that's gone. Woodhouse misses with a right hand. But he's keeping that jab going. Trying to keep Van Poestch on the end of it. It is a different Curtis Woodhouse we're seeing. But still a work in progress, and this is a good workout for him.
Yeah, I know this is a different level, but I wonder maybe if he's stronger at the weight. I mean, away down at lightweight, you wonder how he got himself down there.
Well, he's starting to break up Van Poestch here. He's been rocked a couple of times and has had to really grit his teeth and dig in, and still going to work here, Woodhouse. And it is one-way traffic now here in the fifth, inside the final minute of it, and another big right hand, and Van Poestch is taking a lot of punishment, just dipping and rocking to try and stay out of harm's way, but finally had to go. There's the body shot that did it, but that's been coming.
5, 6, 7.
And as tough a game as he is up at 9, but is he going to be allowed to continue? Michael Alexander gives him another chance, 30 seconds left in the round. You've always got to admire somebody that gets up from a body shot like that. That shows that they want it. But wanting it is one thing. What can he do about it? And he's been getting some serious punishment here, Van Poestch.
Yeah, Woodhouse was actually dominating, and you can see Van Poestch's right elbow being pulled down. Doesn't want another one of those, and don't blame him.
And I wonder if Tony Borg might have a look at his man at the end of this round and say, I think you've had enough. Did well. Had a big smile at the end of the round there, Van Poestch, which was very good to see. But fellas, still one round left.
Listen, you've got to keep moving at it, and you've got to let your shot go. Just walking through because you're not throwing anything at it. Right?
No, really, that was a dominating round from Woodhouse. A fight I thought was going to get tougher as it went along because of facing the naturally bigger man. It's been quite the opposite. He's imposed himself. Terrific performance. So nice to see him back. Nice to see him back with his enthusiasm. And that was a terrific punch. That would have finished. I mean, I think the fact that the young man's a soldier maybe it stood him in good stead there. Because, as you said, that would have finished a lot of people. That took everything away. He waited till the count of 8, then up he got, back on with the job. Full credit to him.
Not a hint of a suggestion from Tony Borg that he was going to stop this one. He was obviously happy, looked into his eyes. We get ready for the last round. But the gulf has been widening between them the longer it goes on. And you have to admire Van Poestch's bravery for sticking with this and for climbing off the floor like that. Now, can he finish on his feet as well? So what do you think of this new look Curtis Woodhouse, this more defensively minded, more jab-conscious Curtis Woodhouse that you're seeing, Jim?
Yeah, well, if you have the skills, then I think you should be using them. No, I think he's doing the right thing. I think if he's moved out of the weight division, even if he moves up to 140 pounds, then fair enough. But I think he's been very impressive tonight. I mean, okay, he's facing a man who's lost 4 out of 7, so I suppose it's a fight that he would be expected to win. But I thought it might have been more of a struggle for him, and the fact that he's boxed so well and he's got himself in such good shape, he's winning it convincingly.
Doubling up the hook there. And teeing off at will here. Woodhouse moving. His movement is so relaxed. A little bit tight in those first couple of rounds when Van Poestch was asking him some questions. There's another one of those body shots. Look at another one.
Yeah, I think Van Poestch is making sure he doesn't take another one of those. His right elbow's doing his job in this round.
He landed a body shot of his own there, Van Poestch, but just can't seem to hurt him. And there's a great combination upstairs. Got Rock Van Poestch again. He's tough though, isn't he? He's really taking some punishment in these last 2 rounds and still gritting his teeth and going on.
He knows he's losing. He just wants to hear that final bell, and you've got to give him a lot of credit for that. I mean, those were a couple of sickening head punches that he took there. I think the referee, if it had been earlier in the fight, it turned against him. He might have been thinking about stepping in, but in the last round.
And well, now into the last minute of that round as well, Jim. Yeah.
Yep, so that's good. You just let him continue. A couple of sickening punches there.
Well, he's earned the right to hear the final bell here, Lewis Van Poestch. Been a very gutsy effort from him. And he can come out of this with his head held high, because you go 6 rounds with Curtis Woodhouse, even though you've been on the receiving end badly for the last couple of them. It can only make you stronger. He'll learn a lot from this. He'll take something away from this. And Woodhouse will be happy just to get this one out the way, because 1 or 2 little question marks early on, but things started to roll and flow. And that was a very entertaining 6-rounder. And a lot of respect between the 2 fellas as well, which is also great to see.
Yeah, we saw a lot of class and a lot of quality from Woodhouse. Full credit to Van Poestch for the part he played in that. As you've just said, it was a terrific, entertaining 6-rounder. Now these punches, bang, with the head rolled back, keeping in mind it's been a tough couple of rounds leading up to that. So full credit to him. He hung on in there, remembering too the body shot that must have taken a lot out of him in the previous round. But these are solid punches that he was asked to take there and just carry on. But that's what he did. Saw it through, and now that it's over, I'm glad he managed to do that. He deserved that.
Yeah, and we're tempted to forget, as we've been talking about, how Curtis Woodhouse is refining his game plan. This fella can bang, and he banged quite a few times on Lewis Van Poestch. And the soldier stood up to that, kept himself together, but yeah, he's got plenty to smile about. That tank of his, which was on empty 6 weeks ago when he was on the floor against Derry Matthews, well, he's fully revived now, isn't he?
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, Michael Alexander has scored this contest for Poestch 54 points and for Woodhouse 59 points. Your winner from Driffield, Curtis Woodhouse. What about showing your appreciation for
Curtis Woodhouse showing a bit of emotion there. Beats his chest. He's a long way back from being on the floor 6 weeks ago after that Derry Matthews massive shot that he took. He poses for the photographers and he's back to winning ways. Classy, confident Curtis Woodhouse, former Hull City footballer of course, now boxing for pay, and he's talking to Andy Scott.
Curtis, 6 weeks ago we were talking to you as a loser. How did it feel to be back to winning ways?
Well, it's nice to speak to you tonight and actually remember talking to you, because I can't remember speaking to you 6 weeks ago after what happened, but it's great to be back. And I've got to be honest, for this fight it's been the most nervous I've ever been, just from knowing what I've had to come back and the demons in my mind, will it happen again and things like that. So it's great to be back, and Dave Caldwell's done the right thing for me, getting back out there straight away. This is what I love doing, man. I love fighting.
Have you had to say goodbye to the toe-to-toe wars and the brawling and the scrapping and get back to your boxing?
Yeah, I'm saving that for Saturday nights now. No, on a serious note, I've been working now and working on my skills, because believe it or not, I've got good boxing skills when I use them. As you see today, when I got behind my jab, I looked quite good at times. So I'm always going to have that street fighting background, because that's where I come from. But I'm trying to add a little bit of boxing in there as well. But this man next to me here, Poochie, what a tough kid.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Great fight.
It was good for everyone to watch. After the Derry Matthews fight, you were pained to tell everyone it wasn't about the weight. It wasn't about the weight. But did that in there prove that welterweight is where you belong?
Well, you know, what I don't want to do is, I don't want to take any shine off Derry's victory whatsoever. So, with all due respect, I'm not going to answer that question, but I won't be back at 9 stone 9. But Derry deserves maximum respect. He got the best possible me at 9 stone 9, so I don't want to take any shine off his victory whatsoever.
You've linked up with, you know, the Spice Boy, Ryan Rhodes. Ryan, what did you make of Curtis's performance? I know you're still with John Pegg, but you've had Ryan. Ryan, what did you make of that performance?
Yeah, we've had 5 weeks together, me and Curtis, and we trained for a few years before when I was fighting with Dave. What it is with Curtis, I think I am a 10 now, because he threw a double jab in that fight. You know, it was all about getting back to his boxing. We all know Curtis can fight, but what a lot of people don't know, he can box as well. He's got a good boxing brain, and he also can use his outside of the ring rather than fighting inside the ring.
Dave Caldwell as well, your promoter, I'll bring you in. Dave, you stood by your man through thick and thin. What do you think he can go on to achieve?
At light welterweight, I still think that he can win a British title. You know, he got caught with a great punch from a really good puncher. At light welterweight, I think he's a different animal. I always said that. I didn't agree with him going down to lightweight in the first place. We always knew that he could carry the power, but I wasn't convinced he could take the shot at lightweight. This was a hard fight for him mentally, because he had a lot of demons going in there. It's not nice getting, you know, what happened to him and then going into a fight. And we knew that this kid was going to come at him. It was a fight where I could have got somebody a little bit easier, but we wanted, myself and John Pegg, we wanted to get somebody that's going to ask him a few questions, and he knows whether he still wants to do this, because it's an hard game. He's come from football. He's not had no background in boxing. He needs to know that he still wants to do this, and he can go on another journey again. And it's proved, he's proved that he wants it.
Final question to you, Curtis. You failed at Commonwealth level, and no one would have blamed you if you walked away after achieving everything in football and just falling short. But what do you think you can go on to achieve? What's your ambition? When
I first came in this game, when I first turned pro, I said my dream all along was to become British champion. My dad died 5 years ago, and on his deathbed I promised him that I'd become British champion, and I don't like breaking promises.
We wish you all the best in that quest. Well done.
The Troll Hunter returns. Curtis Woodhouse gets win number 20 of his professional career. That's it, a little taster of what's to come. Join us 8 o'clock Sky Sports 2 for more live action, headed by the third pro outing of Hull's Olympic golden boy Luke